Hello.
Hey, hey, Allison. Hi, Jana.
Ja. Hello,
Hello,
Gisela.
Gisela.
Welcome.
Hello,
Hi.
Cindy. Hello, Maria. Long time no see. Hi, Ida.
Hey,
Hey. Hello, Michael.
Welcome. Hello, Manuela and Jillian, Denise, Debbie.
Hey,
Very
hey,
warm
Debbie.
welcome.
Welcome, Texas. How wonderful. It's great. We have people from all across the planet. How wonderful. We have
Great.
here represented what I see so far: Austria, England, Switzerland, America. Yeah.
Here we have some. Oh,
Africa.
so great. Welcome, everybody, to this free life coaching. I'm very excited to be your host today together with Ingela. And just to begin with, I wanted to explain you a little bit how things are going tonight. So we have a few rules, so everything is in order. First of all, we just wanted to let you know that this meeting will be recorded, just for your information. Um, and then if you later on are asked if you have a question for Ingela, you can raise your hand. And this works as follows. On your top bar, you have at bottom bar, I mean, you have a little heart where with the title React. And if you click on that, you can do something, meaning give an icon and raise your hand with that. So either you can do it like that or you can wave at me. Yeah, see, Ingela raised her hand and now this little hand appears on the corner, in the corner of her picture. So if you do that, I know that you have a question that you would like to ask Ingela. Or if that doesn't work, just raise your hand like that until I see you. So then we can take your question next. And the last thing is already that we have a chat function. So I will post two links in there that I will tell you about later on, where you can see more of what Ingela's current project is or was with the trailer loading course. That will be something that we talk about. And of course, the Nexo course, which is her creating the Fearless Horse course, with the possibility of joining our actual live coaching. So this is a little tasting of what we do in live coaching. Shortly on my person, I am Stephanie Lehmann. I'm living in Switzerland. I have two Swiss mountain horses, like hobbier type of horses. And I joined the life coaching maybe like 3.5 years ago, something along that line. And actually, since then, I started one of my own horses, and it has been an amazing journey for me. So her courses, live and online, have really helped me. And just last week, I had a child over. I give lessons, riding and horsemanship lessons to children, and she was a little bit disabled. And my horse that I started, he's now 5, and this little child just kind of, not on purpose, not mean in any way, but kicked him in the belly and moved her legs wildly around, and he was just chill as a cucumber, and but very responsive still if she really asked something. So that made me really, really proud of him. And I think it's only possible because of True Connection. So this is a little testimony that it's really worth to try it out and have an open heart about that. And now I will ask Ingela to introduce herself and True Connection a little bit more.
Good evening, everyone, and morning for some. So great to see all of you here. That makes me really happy. I just love to spend time with horse people, and I love to talk about horses. So before we begin, how about you all smile into the camera? So, when we upload it to somewhere, it always takes a screenshot, so we get to choose, and that way we all look good, yeah? So when you're ready, you just look in the camera. I'm going to count to 3, and you just hold the smile. Okay, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Perfect. You guys are so good at that. It's marvelous. It counts. Okay, so just very briefly about myself. I was born in Switzerland as a horse lover. From very little age onward, I was absolutely a horse fanatic, even though I grew up in a high-rise building in the suburb of Bern, the capital. I got my first horse when I was 16. Then I moved to England when I was 1920, and I started a professional career competing in advanced intermediate eventing, and I rode at Grand Prix level dressage, even though I did not compete. So that's a little bit about my traditional background. I then got into natural horsemanship, and I first studied in a Pirelli system, which we know, those of you are familiar with that. It's a dominant system, but I didn't know that, and it really helped me a lot. I learned so many important things. I got to work with foals and yearlings and start young horses and work with challenging horses. And after that, I discovered more and more about the lead horse principles, which we have 3 types of horses in the herd. In every herd, in a wild herd, we have the lead mare. She's the matriarch, and she is responsible for decisions and for the safety of the herd. So she's often on the outside of the herd. She's on the lookout for predators, and when she sees something dangerous, she goes. And this is her way to keep the herd safe. So this is her job. She's extremely responsible for safety and for decision making, and every herd member looks to her. So I learned more about the types of horses in the herd. So the dominant horse will be responsible for herd structure, who's standing where, who is not very polite to other mares, etc. And then there are the passive horses and the dominant, and the passive horses are all on the same scale, just higher or lower, and they practice their skills because they're trying to come up in the ranking. Now, I discovered more and more about that and decided to switch my entire way I communicate with horses, as well as the way I'm teaching, to lead communication. Mostly because I've discovered that dominant communication, and I want to say that first, we don't like that word dominant, but it's not a bad word. A stallion in the herd, the top stallion, he is dominant. It's okay. It's just that I found that most horse people don't like to be dominant, and so the dominant horsemanship systems, which is pretty much all the systems that are currently out there, they don't work for every horse, and they certainly don't work for every person. But lead communication works for everybody, because we are all created as leads. Every one of us is special, is unique, is extremely valuable, created by God, in the image of God, meaning we're all created as leads. We're not created passive or dominant. We become passive or dominant in our interaction with people and horses mostly out of pain in our hearts. When our value gets touched or we get afraid, then we have a tendency to either pull our heart back and shrink back, or we push more and become more bossy. So that same thing can happen with our horses. And then we also grow up in a world where only dominant communication is taught. We can get into that later a little bit more. I just wanted to tell you that actually through my own journey of the healing of my heart, where I experienced the absolute amazing love of God healing my heart, because of that, I started to understand that not only people get triggered, also horses get triggered. And if you think about your own lives, when you go to work or you do something with your children or husband or wife or friends, there seem to be those small little painful things that happen during the day that we in one way we're very used to those as adults, so we might just shut them down or put them under the wall, or we know how to deal with those things. But there's still small little kind of pokes, like needle pokes, and they hurt our heart. So we feel maybe frustrated or stressed, maybe even angry and scared, depending on what's happening. And then what then? Because when we feel that, we then either become more passive and pull our heart back, or close our heart, or make a wall to protect ourselves, or we become more bossy and make the other people pay, one or the other. So this is happening to everybody. And this, of course, happened to me a lot. And I went on this healing journey where I then eventually really, really experienced this beautiful, wonderful healing of my heart. So I now know that not only people get triggered, it's not just us who lose our joy and peace, it's also the horses. Now, horses don't have a frontal lobe. So a horse can't sit there and go, tomorrow I'm going to be really good and I'm going to trot down here fearless. Okay. And the horse doesn't go, oh yeah, yesterday was just such a great day. They can't. They have no frontal lobe. The horse cannot think about your marriage or if you had a bad day at work. They do not have the ability. They live in the moment, but what they see and what they feel and what they experience can trigger them. And what that means is, let's say a horse had a bad experience as a foal, maybe misunderstood, maybe the horse felt trapped, locked in, it didn't learn maybe to yield. Now that same horse, when you go to tie it up, all of a sudden feels the pressure and starts to pull back. Or the horse starts to do any of the behaviors that we call misbehaving, right? So we might experience the horse getting nervous or scratching the ground or neighing, or even worse things like pulling or bucking or kicking, or it can be a whole range of things, behaviors. So through my discovery that I made about lead communication and also the healing of our heart, I discovered how we can help the horse with those triggers. And this is what I'm calling creating the fearless horse. So I know this is a very, very lengthy introduction. As you can see, I love to teach. I'm already in it. I'm like in. Okay. So when we talk about true connection, you might say, well, what is this? What this is for me is several things. But first and foremost, it is to build a heart connection with our horse. So not a connection to the horse's body or even mind or just emotions. It's a real heart connection. For that, we cannot have walls. We need to be willing to work on allowing our walls to come down so the horse can see us, can see into us, and can connect to our own hearts. And then helping the horse to take down his walls, because probably more than 90% of all horses on the planet are in self-protection. The moment they're with us, they protect themselves. They are the ones who look out for the danger. They always say, oh, what is that? There's a bird. Oh, no, it is a hot air balloon. Oh, no. Other horses are galloping by. The horse is constantly going into self-protection because we are not the lead. So true connection is about building a heart connection with the horse. It is about becoming our horse's lead horse. So he feels safe with us. He follows our thoughts and ideas. He trusts our decisions to keep him safe. And through that, we create a fearless horse. How? By the horse choosing us as his lead, he becomes fearless because we're doing that job. Our job is the herd safety. Our job is the decision making. And when the horse truly chooses us as the lead, he is fearless, just like he would be with his lead mare. Now, another part is that we're learning to communicate with thought and energy, max a body cue. So it's a very soft way to communicate. And we're also helping the horse understand the difference between when we're asking something, which we do with phases. We use a thought, then energy, then a body cue, and then we use a touch, first of the air, then the hair, with our stick or hand or anything. And just to get the horse's attention, not for the horse to move, because our aim is to communicate through thought and energy. And the horse must understand how we communicate. Then the horse must understand what is his space, what is our space, and what is shared space. And for that, we use blocks. First a mental block, so an energy block, and then later a physical block. And the third thing is that the horse needs to understand what is rhythmic motion, rhythmic touch, and noise, rhythmic noise, because these are all the things that then mean nothing. So if we want to saddle our horse or eat a sandwich or pick up our mobile phone or wave at our friend or get very excited and hop and dance around, we don't want our horse to be afraid. So in True Connection, we're learning how to communicate to the horse if it's so-called gentling. So this is the understanding of rhythm, noise, and motion that doesn't mean anything. When is it a phase and when is it a block? So this is basically what I am teaching now and helping people all over the world to get a heart connection with their horses. And this is my passion. I love to teach. So here we are. And as Steffi said, we are in a life coach meeting, which is something we do every 2 weeks. Everybody that joins a Fearless Horse course can join those courses with a bi-weekly life coaching session. So today you get to have a little insight into that. And Steffi, maybe have you already posted the links? Ah, yes.
Yes, I have posted the links and I'm just about to post another one for all of those that are not yet a True Connection student, maybe, or they don't know if it would be something for them. I will post the link to a free mini masterclass, meaning you can sign up totally for free and receive 3 videos or 3 parts, little parts, where you can see how Ingela works, what her principles are, a little bit like a trailer or a snippet into her work, and then maybe it makes it easier for you to see if that would be something that you want to invest your time in. All of us in the North Hemisphere, we all have winter, so it's a great timing to invest in some online learning while the horses freeze in the cold and we sit inside in front of the computer and gain some more knowledge until we can properly work again with our horses outside. So
Yeah.
I will post that as
Thank you,
well.
Steffi. And by the way, guys, Steffi, she said it briefly, but she hasn't started a horse before. She literally did the online course and she did also some live courses and she started her young horse all by herself and it turned out super great. And she's not the only one. We have several other life coaching students who started their own horse and it turned into absolutely fearless and connected and wonderful and motivated and light and open and sweet. So it's been a real pleasure for me to see this. What is possible even with online learning. So I want to give you just a tiny little bit more information about that link where you see Creating the Fearless Horse course plus life coaching. This is a course that goes for 3 months. Okay. So it's a 3 months course and you follow me in that course. I took a unstarted 3-year-old Lusitano stallion that has not been handled, and I start right from the beginning. How to give him a choice, because choice is one thing that is really important in True Connection. We don't use dominance, we don't use pressure to make the horse come to us, stay with us, or be with us. The horse gets to choose. And if the horse says, no, you're not a good enough lead, then we work on ourselves until we are. Okay? So, because when we are dominant, the horse, if we use dominant phases, so dominant phases would be you put pressure on even when you start slow. Thought, energy, body cue, touch, 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 touch until the horse moves. That's a dominant phase. This is not how lead mares communicate. And because of this, the horse cannot help it. He will automatically see you as dominant, even if you are a totally passive person. The horse will still not see you as a lead. So it's very important that we understand how leads communicate, not just the heart attitude, but physically how they communicate, to then communicate in that way with our horses, so the horse has a choice, a free choice. And just to let you know, horses always choose the lead mare. Have you ever watched wild horse herds? Is there ever the case where the lead mare sees a mountain lion and gallops off that not everybody will follow her? Never happens. Everybody follows, yes? No questions asked. She doesn't have to say, hey, you over here, please come. Please canter. We need to go. She doesn't push them. She doesn't go there and push those horses. She says, I'm doing my job. There is a lion. My job is to keep you guys safe. I'm doing that. We're going over here. And she communicates that by thought into the herd, and the whole herd follows her. It's brilliant. So this is what I want it to be. This is what I've been working on, and this is where I'm getting better at, being the lead. So do all my students. It's really fun. Now, it's very much more fun than having to ask the horse the whole time, do this, do that, and the horse goes, okay, if I really have to, I'll move like tomorrow, okay? So I don't enjoy that. So, all right, so this Creating the Fearless Horse course, it is a 3-month course, meaning you follow me. You watch everything I do with this young stallion, step by step. Maybe you have a horse that's been ridden for 15 years and is pretty good. That doesn't matter. You still start at lesson 1, you go through everything and you check everything. You check, has my horse chosen me out of his own free will, or does he feel he has to be with me? Is my horse 100% okay? Is he actually internally relaxed? Is he fearless? And you go through that step by step, doing the same exercises, no matter if your horse is a 2-year-old or a unstarted horse, or you've been riding him for 15 years and he's competing at Grand Prix level. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you're a show jumper, you're a competitor, or you're a hobby rider, or you just have a riding a shared horse where you go once a week. It does not matter what you have or your involvement with the horse. You can learn to be a lead and help your horse to be fearless. So that course is about that. It goes, as I said, for 3 months. You watch videos for 4 weeks, 2.5 hours per week, and then you have another 2 months to put it into practice. And you have life coaching every 2 weeks. It helps keep you on track, because most horse people, we have a tendency to just do the things that are a little bit easy and fun, and the things we're not so good at, we just ignore. and we hope they get better by themselves. But if we actually want to really progress and improve and become the lead for our horse, then we need to be dedicated. So hence the life coaching meetings, they keep us like on track. Now, I started this horse and I split the material into 4 courses. So it basically is 4 times a 3 months course with life coaching. And at the end, this young stallion is going bareback and bridleless, even with the mares that he has covered in the field next door. And he has no neck string and he has nothing. Free. And he's connected to me. So this is the progression. And then there's a 5th course in that series, which is about an abused and a traumatized mare, where we're learning some more extreme techniques and what to do when a horse has been that damaged. There you watch like a fly on the wall. And there's lots of my students who are still practicing with their horse into their first course, but they still continued purchasing all the courses. So they have them in the library, because sometimes you need to jump forwards and watch something. And often what happens is you need to, you get 20% if you keep going. And that's a bonus. So that's how most people do it. But I'm handing it over to you, Steffi, because we're having questions, right? I see some hands raised.
Yes. So first of all, I just wanted to also say, for all of those who still have the camera off, we would love to see your beautiful faces. So if you're in any way able to turn on your camera, please do so. And then also, for after the live coaching, please send me, for all of you who want to get some more information, and maybe also those links that I posted in the group chat. If you want to have them again, then please send me your email address. Either put it into the group chat or send it to me directly. You can go into the chat, and then where it says to, just look for my name, Stephanie Lehmann, and then you can send me your email. So we will notify you with any new projects and also the offers that we just talked about now. So we take the first question, and I think Cindy is waiting for her question. So please unmute yourself so we can hear you.
Can you hear
Click
me?
on the little map. Yeah,
Yes, I can
perfect.
hear you, Cindy.
First of all, I've spent a bunch of time in Switzerland and I love it. I just love it. I used to have a house near Davos, so that's really nice.
Oh, how
But
wonderful.
that's not what my question. A really dear friend of mine has done a lot of your work, which is why I wanted to do this Zoom call. She just sings your praises, and she was saying she did a video on her page about your horse choosing you, just what you mentioned now. Does my horse choose me? And so, but I'm here in Montana. I don't know if you know the US at all, but I'm here in Montana. And when there's like a when a moose comes out, the horses are all over the shop. They just smell it and they're just all over the shop. So I think their instincts kick in. So I think they're going to run. They're not going to choose me. How do you override that instinct? I mean, that's the horse instinct.
Okay,
That's my question.
that's a great question, Cindy. So if you watch, if the lead mare sees something that's dangerous, actually, let's just go to a whole horse herd out there in Montana. I spend a fair bit amount of time in Montana, Cindy. Both with
Have you? That's
I have,
great.
yes, I have. We actually founded an organization called Horses for Orphans in Montana, in Hamilton, in the
Oh,
Bitterroot
wow.
Valley.
Very nice.
Yep.
Nice.
Okay, yeah. But I spent quite a bit of time riding horses and starting young horses in the mountains with Ronnie Willis, one of the older horseman that's no longer with us. So when you watch a horse herd in the wild or even a domesticated horse herd, the part of the nervous system that is activated when they are grazing is the parasympathetic nervous system.
Right.
So they're in rest, digest, relax mode. Now, let's say you walk to that field. The horses will lift up their heads and they temporarily, the sympathetic nervous system gets activated. So they stop digesting. They're ready, they're freezing. So they're ready for freeze, flight, or fight. First, they
Right.
freeze. The head comes up and they stop chewing, and the little piece of grass is still sticking out of the mouth here. In that moment, when the sympathetic nervous system gets activated, the horse is in so-called freeze. He is there to assess the situation. So the horse will stare at you that is approaching, and it is weighing up. Dangerous, not dangerous. I need to run or nothing to worry about. Then the horse will see it is Cindy with the food bucket. How wonderful. So the horse relaxes, switches back from the sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system and keeps on grazing or comes over. Okay? This is natural and that should be happening. Now, if the horse determines that it is not Cindy, it is actually a moose, and we don't know if the moose is going to eat it and it's like a mountain lion or not, instead
Right.
of,
Same thing.
same thing, head comes up, they assess it, then they go, oh boy, oh no, no, and off they go. Okay?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, this is the lead mare's job. It is her job, and she takes her responsibility extremely serious. The same as the dominant horse is taking his role of herd structure extremely serious. They're doing their job 24/7. They never stop. Now, when you become the lead, you will do this. You're in the field with your horses. You see a moose. You lift your head up. You see the moose. And you go like, there's nothing. It's a moose. And if they've chosen you as the lead, they will come down with you.
It's interesting because um, I think the smell of it and the size of it,
Yeah.
they just lose the plot. But I know,
Yes.
like one of my horses, Brady, she's very much a space horse. She looks around, and when I'm riding her, I'll say to her, "That's not for you," and I just bring her back to me. So I do that quite often, and it works brilliantly. But when it comes to the moose and the mountain lions, it's
Yes.
it's like their survival.
So, yes, but you basically want to have the position of the lead mare, meaning if, Cindy, in that herd would be a lead mare that determines the moose is nothing to fear. Right now, it looks like she's saying, my goodness, there's everything to fear here. Let's go. Okay? But I'm saying, if you have a lead mare that is not afraid, if the lead mare would say, that is nothing, the other horses would follow her thought and energy.
So the continued question is, there's times, let's say, like when I'm coming down and they're coming into the paddock and their heads are high and they're looking all over the place, and I'm like, all is well, and they still are just like all over the shop. They still have the high heads.
So what I would do, I would establish my leadership position with each horse, not the whole herd at once, because they'll be looking to the other
Okay,
horses.
that makes that okay.
So
That's good.
you take one and you establish your leadership position. Once that's done, next one, next one, next one. Once you have
Okay,
done
because
it
I've
with
done
each
that.
horse
Okay, that
separately,
works.
you take two. Take two of the lowest ranking, then the next two, the next two, the next two. Last, you try to establish your ranking with the lead mare. The way you do this, Cindy, okay? The lead mare will be very sure it is her job, not yours. She'll be convinced, okay? She is going to say, who are you, Cindy? You are very welcome in my herd here, but I'm doing my job for safety. Can't you see the moose? Okay, so you cannot start with the moose present. You must find a quiet environment and first prove to your lead mare in your herd that you
Okay,
are
okay.
that lead. So until she looks to you, this goes like this. You go into the indoor school. The horse is in self-protection. Loud noise outside, or no indoor school in Montana, outside, anything. Bucket falling over, stuff happening. You're with one horse in a paddock. If you don't have an arena, in a field, one horse. Then when that horse starts to go and get agitated, it's looking at something and starts running off towards the fence line. You just look once. Ah, it is nothing. Then you do your job. You breathe, you look away, you relax, and you walk from A to B. Guys, you can all do this. Let me just run everybody quickly through how we start. The very first step to establish you as a lead. You pick an area, like an arena. You walk in there knowing the entire area is yours. And first, you just walk from A to B, anywhere. You just take a straight line. You don't look at the horses, at the horse in there, nothing. You just walk and you stop in that spot and you relax. Lead mares don't go around greeting everybody. They're doing their job. Then you walk somewhere else, you lift up your head, you look, you determine there is no danger here, you relax a minute or two in that spot. And you do that 3 or 4 times across the arena, meaning you have now checked that the area is safe, which is your job as the lead mare. You walked a few places, you checked, you looked, there was nothing there, you relax. That alone is going to cause your horse to see you different and more like a lead. Then you are going to be determined to go do something, whatever you want to do. For example, you're going to make space available. You're going to say, okay, all this whole arena is available except that one spot my horse is standing on. And then you go there and you clear that space, meaning you can run to that spot and then you stand there and your horse can go wherever it wants. No putting pressure on the horse and following the horse or anything. You just say, you can have the whole arena, but this spot here I currently need. And 2 minutes later, you said, hey, this spot is available, but that spot over there is not available. If you just do this little part, you show your horse that you're a lead. And this second exercise is something we call find the herd. Start that, do that with every horse. First, one horse, then 2 horses, then 3, and so on, before you try the whole herd. And for you, Cindy, when you
Oh,
have the whole herd and there is a moose, you have to look. You must show the horse that you have seen it. Otherwise, they're like, who is this person? They don't even see the moose. You have to go, it's a moose. And then you relax. And as they
well,
learn, this is a journey, as they learn to trust you and choose you, they are going to relax and follow your thought and idea.
now when you said just now about the that you're going into that space and they are not supposed to be there, you want them to move off? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, I do want her to move off when a space is no longer available because all the space belongs to the lead mare and she chooses which area she shares.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much for your question. Steffi?
Thank you.
I was muted. Sorry. Thank you very much for that question. I think Jackie has another question that she would like to ask you.
I do. I was wondering, Ingela, how this course relates to horses that tend to be less afraid, and tend to be more, you're not the boss of me. I have a I have a high spirit left brain extrovert that I've had for quite some time. That's Pirelli speak for those of you who aren't Pirelli folks. And I'm a level 4 student, and I tell you, he's still those ears go back um, for what feels to me like no reason. Um, the whole "you're not the boss of me," and I was wondering how you would deal with this, what your thoughts on it are, how your program integrates with that.
Hey, Jackie, thank you for that question. It's a great question. So we are looking at a horse that is maybe a little higher ranking in the herd. He's not a very passive, maybe he's medium, maybe he's dominant in the herd structure. And even if he is not a dominant horse in a herd, he for sure sees the human as passive, okay? So what we need to understand is the horsenality that horsenality is like left brain, right brain, extrovert, introvert. That's nice. However, some horses are one of these things, not even by choice. It's what they have become. So when I talk about lead dominant passive, we're looking at the bigger picture. We're looking at the three types of horses in a herd, irrelevant of left brain, right brain, introvert, extrovert. We're looking at their role in the herd. So let me talk to you a little bit about the dominant horse, Jackie. The dominant horse's job is herd structure. It is his responsibility that he is born with. If he has humans in his life, he will know exactly within about 10 seconds if that human is aware of 4 areas. Okay? One is the human aware of their own body and energy? Does the human notice when the human is stepping back or even shifting the sternum back, making space, giving up space? Subconsciously, if it happens subconsciously, then the horse knows the human is unaware. Okay, so we must be aware of our own body. What are we doing? What is happening? What's happening with our legs, our arms, our chest, our shoulders, our back, our feet? Not just are we moving them, how are we portraying ourselves in the space? So awareness of self, then awareness of the horse. Are we aware of where is the horse and what is he doing? Thirdly, what is happening between us, between the horse and I? And fourthly, what is happening in our surroundings? Horses are aware of these 4 areas. If a horse notices that we are only aware of 1 or 2 of those areas, immediately he looks at us as passive. If we, without knowledge, give up space, the horse knows. Now, let me talk to you very briefly about a couple of concepts on lead and dominant. Lead horses own all the space, but they're willing to share. They actually give up space and they give up grain and food and water. The dominant horse not. He claims space. He does not share food and water. I'm talking about the top dominant one, right? Now, when you look at the jobs, we know the lead is responsible for safety and decision. So she's watching, always watching what's going on. She's not proving her position physically. She does it mentally. The dominant horse proves his position physically by pushing into space or claiming space. If you have a horse, left brain extrovert, more on the dominant scale, Jackie, I'm going to go there, yeah, not afraid, crabby, unafraid, he is looking at people as more passive than he is. And now I want to switch you to how a horse is thinking. Okay? The horse does not think about self. The horse thinks about his job in the herd as a whole, his responsibility, and he's doing it. He's not saying, I like Jackie, I don't like Jackie, nothing like that. He is watching what the other horses are doing and what you are doing. He's choosing who is his lead, because lead horses make the decisions. Now, a dominant horse has 2 jobs. Herd structure, he's responsible for other horses to move their feet. Move. Have you moved? Why are you standing here? Don't stand here. Move. Yeah. That's his job. And he's going to try to do that job with as least effort possible. So if he can just shift his weight slightly onto his inside front leg while you're standing there and you don't notice it, he will believe you're passive. He will believe you're lower ranking than him if you don't see that. Now, his second job is to help the lead mare. This is why in True Connection, people are allowed to have stallions and also are allowed to play with stallions, which in dominant systems, we cannot do that. It's dangerous. You cannot be dominant in your communication and your heart and go play with a stallion, because there comes the day that he says, today I'm the boss. Today you are weak, and they can attack, right? But in True Connection, we do never treat a horse with dominance or present ourselves dominant. We present ourselves as the lead. And the top ranking, most dominant stallion in a herd, his second job is to help the lead mare do her job. So if she says, hello everybody, we're going, okay, and she gallops off, what does he do? He goes and bites Johnny and Georgie and so on, and he says, get up. What are you doing? Did you not hear what she said? That's his job. And he pushes them. He's responsible for herd structure and to help her. Then he turns around and will fight the lion if it has to be, or the other stallion. Now, if you have a dominant horse, you have no choice except be the lead, or one day you're going to get injured. Or if you're not getting injured, your horse will be dull. He will do the minimum. He will do it slowly. You work hard. He will not be motivated. He will not put effort in. Why? Because by nature, the only other horse a dominant horse puts effort in for and wasting energy is the lead mare. He will give all his energy to help her because it's his job. And he will give all his energy to move the other ones. That's his job. But himself, he will put zero energy in moving his body away from anywhere. Okay, so Jackie, that's what you're experiencing, okay? He is saying, dear Jackie, you're welcome in the herd, and so are all the other two-leggeds. You just make sure you stand where I want you, okay? So if you're asking him, please give me a medium trot or an extended trot or a little bit more exuberance or motivation, he's like, make me do it. Aha, you're not making me do it. I'm not doing it. He's looking to you to communicate with him in a dominant way. This is why he's responding like that. If you would be the lead, he would say, Jackie, good morning. What can I do for you? Piaf? Okay, I can do better. And he will bend his haunches more, sit down and give you a longer and a higher and a better piaf. So you have a horse that sees you passive. This is not a negative thing. You know, nearly 99.999% of our horses, they see us as passive, even if we think we're dominant. Even when we think we are lead. It doesn't matter how we see ourselves. It matters how the horse sees us. And that is easy to determine how our horses see us. So, Jackie, what can we do? I'll tell you. Yeah, you can say.
I was going to ask, I think part of the issue might be he's had a minor injury for the last couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
And as a result, we I've been doing about 90% just undemanding time. We go and we graze, and I don't ask much of him, because I'm trying to be a good friend.
Yeah.
You know, if he so I'm not sure how to be a good lead if I can't. I guess I'm falling back into the Pirelli a little bit, but if I can't say, you know, you need to maintain gait and maintain direction, because I mean,
No.
for the last 2 years, we haven't done any of that.
I know, but even that's normally dominant. So let me just say,
Right.
you need to start communicating as the lead, and he will change his opinion about you, and he will put effort in and be motivated. And for that, you would start with getting his attention and then do something called find the herd. But we better take some more questions, Jackie. But it was a great question. Thank you so much, Steffi.
It was great. And just briefly, it's really true what she's saying. Like, this is not some imaginary thing. I was able to play with one of her horses, Salty, in England, and he was fabulous. Like, literally, I tried to ask for Canter, and he was like, "Oh, you're asking for Piaf? Sure, let me try it." Even though he's stiff, he has arthritis, and nobody played for him in 3 years. So it's really true. They try to give their best and they give you their best once they have really found the human to be their lead. So it's really amazing. Um, we continue with the next question, Ingela, that was handed in was about trailer loading because the problem was that the horse loads fairly well. The person leads the horse in, it follows willingly, they can close the bump bar, nothing happens. But as soon as they close the ramp and don't start driving, it starts trampling and then it starts neighing for its friends, especially like it's sometimes when other horse is in the trailer with it as well, but especially when it's alone and it has to travel somewhere. And once the person has to unload the horse, then it's sweaty and really stressed. So what would you advise in that case?
Okay, so what happens is that even in natural horsemanship systems where you rest the horse by the trailer or on the ramp, and then you back the horse up, and then you ask the horse to go in again and load and unload and load and unload. They use usually a principle called reverse psychology, which is actually the opposite of true connection, because I don't like to ask my horse the opposite of what I want him to do. It doesn't make any sense. You know, I don't want to put pressure for the horse to do something, and then when he does it, I rest. And if he doesn't do it, there is more pressure because that's extremely dominant. So when we use dominant communication, be that traditionally or through natural horsemanship systems, it doesn't help horses overcome fears. Now, with some horses it works, because if you're dominant and the horse is passive, it will work. But if the horse is a lead mare, that horse will get very much more stressed. So this sounds like potentially this could be a lead mare because there is neighing, there is pawing, there is sweating when traveling, even though the horse goes fine into the trailer. And with lead mares, even though, because they're not confrontational, they will load, they will go in, they are not inside in their heart. They're not in the trailer with their heart. They're still outside the trailer. So what we do when we trailer load, we watch for something called stress signals. And the moment we see a stress signal, we pause. And when the horse shows us relaxation, we continue. So I explained that more in that new trailer loading course that we've just finished. Steffi actually co-worked on that course, and it was a bunch of fun. And the students that are in it now, it's only been released a week or so, or a couple of weeks, they're really enjoying it. But what I would advise is to watch for the stress signals and stop, advance to the trailer, watch for the stress signal, pause till the horse is relaxed, then continue advancing, and then also making sure the horse is really 100% okay with noise, with rhythm, with touch, with the rattling of the butt bar, the ramp, all the noise the trailer makes, and is able to go one step in, one step out, 2 steps in, 2 steps out, 3 steps in, 3 steps out. But for those, I don't know who submitted the question, but I am sure you will get all of your answers in that course. And for those who are not in that course or are not interested in it, then watch for the stress signals. The eye turning to the side like that, and you see the white, that is a stress signal. When you see it, you pause. Do not advance. Okay, next.
Yes, It was a lot of hours put into that course, and it's super fun because I really like it. It has quizzes in where you also know what to look for. It has questions and tasks in that tell you what to look for. So I can really, from the bottom of my heart, tell you to get that course if you have any issues with trailer loading. It will be a total game changer, no matter if you want to do True Connection or not. So the next person that rose her hand was Chilean. So let us hear your question.
I just have a question with the first discussion you had when you said when you claim the arena. So you go into the arena and you walk from A to B and C and D. Is the horse, so you go in and you release the horse and then you just start walking to these corners. Am I understanding it correctly? And
Yeah.
then I also wanted to know, so if you want the horses, for example, standing at A and you working B, C, D, and then you go back to where the horse is standing to claim that, how do you move the horse? Just through your energy, or do you go into up to the rhythms, air, hair, or yeah, it's just simple questions.
Great question, Chilean. So I turn the horse loose in the arena and I leave the arena. I let him be a horse, okay? And I just observe and I watch what is he doing, Maybe he galloping around like crazy. Maybe standing in a corner completely relaxed. It could be a range of things that he is doing. So I observe him for a little bit. When I go into the arena, I go in very sure of myself and that the whole arena belongs to me, but I love to share with my horse. Okay? So I determine a space that I'm sharing with him. Could be all of it. Could be just half of it. Could be a 20-meter circle around me. I choose which space I'm sharing with my horse and which space I am not sharing. Then the space I'm not sharing, I basically fill that out with my energy. I'm present in it. I'm not like, oh, la, 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 la. I'm like in it. It's my space. I can dance in that space. I can walk in that space. It's mine. Okay? And I leave the horse to do whatever he wants to do. When I go, so I'm actually looking for attention. So Jillian, if I get the horse's flicker of an ear, I already retreat because he heard me. So I don't necessarily move the horse then off the spot. I'm looking for his attention. If I get his attention, his ears or his mind on me, I'm happy with that. It'll grow from there. However, if the horse would be like Jackie's horse, he's like, you guys, go drink tea. I am here. This is my arena. I'm going to say, honey, I'm very sorry to inform you. It's not your idea. I paid for it. I built it. It is mine. So you can go somewhere else. And for that, Jillian, I would run, including using my stick, and surprise him. I go to that space and clear it, but I do not direct my energy at the horse. I direct it at the ground. It's not personal. I just need that piece of ground is right now, it's not available. The horse should trot off. And then I stay on that spot and I relax. Okay? Then I go to another spot. He might not be there. I go maybe to 3 spots where he's not. Then I go again to where he's standing still. And I do the same thing. Until he looking at me and saying, where is my space? Or at least saying, I notice you. There is another person here in the arena with me. I say, yeah, that be me and it's my arena. Okay? So when I see the attention, I'll back off. That's how I do it. And pretty soon the horse starts to choose us.
I also want to ask, what would be a good course to start like these building blocks? Is it this fearless course?
Okay. So if you have a horse and you have the ability to practice, then Yes, I would recommend you start with the Fearless course with life coaching. And what you would do is, it's a very practical course, Jillian. It's step by step. It's exercise
Good.
by exercise, step by
I
step by
need
step.
that.
Yes. So you basically watch 10 minutes or 15 minutes, then you go outside and then you try it. Then you come in, then you watch more, you know? Or if you're watching for a while, then you take notes and you go, I need to do A, B, C, D. It is literally step by step. The horse has not been handled. He's a stallion. He's excited about the mares. I show you step by step what exactly I do to help him relax, be calm, choose me, which first is choosing the mares, you know, and other stuff. So you see all of that. Right,
It's a
Steffi?
really nice course. Yeah, it's a really nice course. You're really like a fly sitting on the wall. And it's also, you know, I've bought other courses where you just see kind of how it starts and how it ends. But in Ingela's courses, you really see how it progresses and not just all of a sudden it's done and then you still don't know how it's done. So that really is was a great benefit for me for learning.
You
We're
know,
already, I just the church bells ring, but we will take one more question of Manuela. But before we do that, I just wanted to remind you that please, if you have not done so yet, send me your email addresses. You have one last question. You have the time during that one last question to send me your email address if you want any further information about True Connection, about the links for the courses, or any new projects or even live courses that Ingela does all around the world, sometimes in America and in various locations
South Africa,
in Europe and in
England.
South Africa.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jillian, where are you
Yeah.
from?
England, Switzerland. Yeah.
I'm from South Africa.
Ah, that is great. Where?
So Johannesburg.
Oh, that's good. Make very sure you put your email. I'm gonna be there from mid-March to mid-April, teaching.
I know. I think you must come and stay with me.
Ah, yes, okay, I will. We met last time then.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Great. Okay,
Great.
then
Great.
we'll
Okay, so
wrap it with Manuela's question.
yes, let's wrap it with Manuela's question.
So, hello everybody.
Hello, Manuela.
Hi. I have a journey with a quite special animal or equid. I don't know how to say it in English. And I'll maybe show him for a second. So that he's a mule.
Ah,
You
it's
see him?
cute. Yes, it's cute. Where are you from, Manuela?
I'm from Bern, actually.
From Bern. Like us, we're from
Yes.
Bern. That's great.
Yes. And I I went quite through a lot of steps with him. And actually, I don't know if anybody knows, but mules, they do not have any position. So in a herd, they do not know any run, or how do you say in English? I don't know. And so I have a lot of discussions sometimes with him, which is not negative discussions, but I just need to convince him that I have a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
I always explain it like that. And we have quite a good connection. But my problem sometimes is that when we go somewhere, so it happened that we go outside for a training, or even we go to some places where we have to show into an area. And as I'm now for getting my questions, I'm always really nervous. I'm just like I fall out of my skin. And that's really the problem which I always have, that I'm so nervous that I affect him, or that I don't know, I transfer that to him.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And my question actually is how I can prevent him from this, because my heart beats until I don't know where, and he feels that. And yeah, my that's my main problem I have.
Okay, Manuela. So you have like you always have like two avenues you can go down when you find that you yourself are not in a position where you can be the lead. Okay? So you can either help your horse overcome his own fears of the environment, meaning you take him there, you stand for a very long time in each corner where he needs to be because he is more introverted. That means he is processing internally, and you watch for the stress signals. So, with any mule, donkey, cold blood, semi cold blood horse, they can look fine. They look fine. We put the grandmother on, everything's fine, but it's not fine. They're actually shut down. They close the heart, they are numb, and they're already frozen. They can be frozen and still walk or trot. They're frozen inside. Okay? That means they are waiting. The sympathetic nervous system is activated. They are ready to flee, but they not flee. They hold it together. Okay? So to help them, you need to take more time. So if I would be very, very nervous and I cannot get my heart rate down and I'm flapping all over the place and I know I cannot be the lead, I'm going to help my horse to be very confident. And what I'm going to do is I use a social structure that the horse is used to, that they also have with the non-lead horses. They have it with their pair bond. Okay, you line up parallel to him with your stick, so you're as long as him. A little bit like that, like that, not here, like this. You line up like that. You stand still. You look where he looks. You breathe deep. You look at his eyes. You wait. You must wait. You need to see him blink plus another calming, another relaxation. Lower lip hanging. Breathing out. Okay? Ears playing. You need to see two relaxation signs. Then you move him to the next spot and stand still, waiting for him and saying, I am here. Nervous like you, I'm nervous too, but we're here, we're a herd, we're okay. That's your one option. Okay? Like that until you know how you can not be nervous in yourself. You watch for the stress signals. This looks like a lot of standing still, Manuela, not much moving. And exposing him and standing still, always waiting for the stress signal before you move on. Secondly, for your own heart, I would look at what is it you are nervous about. Because when we are stressed or nervous, this is actually fear. So look at what is the fear. Is it fear of man? What are the other people thinking? Fear of judgment, fear of exposure, fear of not being good enough, fear of value damage. There is going to be a reason why you are afraid or nervous, fear of failure when you need to perform, fear of not being a good enough leader, fear of hurting the mule. Can be 1 million different things. Okay. And it's important you find what is the fear underneath all this nervousness. Maybe it's a lot of excitement. Maybe you are so happy and so excited that your heart rate is all over the place. Okay? You need to find the fear and actually look at that and ideally get the truth in your heart. Now, if you're not able to do that, you need to look at that fear and turn it into a positive energy, meaning you are going to say to yourself, oh, when I'm feeling this stress, I'm going to use words like, whoa, that's an interesting feeling. I am going to use this to get a new experience. Something like that. Turn it positive. And then at home, you need to get your mule used to you being like that. That doesn't mean anything. Just like Steffi with the disabled child. Okay? You nervous with your heart racing doesn't mean anything. You need to get him used to it, just like other people get horses used to plastic bags. I hope that helps you. And Steffi, just before we finish, I wanted to say one thing just to Jillian about the Fearless Horse course, or to everybody. You know, there is a whole bunch of people out there that will show you how brilliant they are with horses, how excellent they are. So you see these very wonderful videos. It's so amazing that you really want to be like them. But maybe you won't be. Maybe you don't have 6 million and a big filming team. Maybe you just can't write that well. Maybe you don't have 12 hours every day for 20 years. Many reasons. Okay? Now, it's great to be inspired by beautiful horsemanship, but I really advise you find somebody that can help you with what you want to do. That's important. So you get to enjoy your horse, because horses are to be enjoyed. You're meant to look at your horse and be thrilled and go, my goodness, my horse is beautiful and I love to do something with him. So the journey should be interesting. It should be fun. It should be happy making. Not stressful, not pressuring, not saying, oh, I need to do all of this and shoulda, coulda, woulda, gotta, have to. Nothing like that. It should be beautiful, enjoyable, and put a really big smile on your face that you even have the opportunity to do something with a horse. Okay? And that is one of the reasons why I cut nothing out. In all my courses, in the Fearless Horse series, I have cut nothing out. When something cuts, it's because a big insect bit us, because it was filmed in Brazil. It started to rain like crazy, or the phone overheated because it was 39 degrees most of the time. Okay? So then you have a sudden cut in the video. This is not because something happened. It's just technology failure due to circumstances. But I filmed everything and I uploaded everything exactly like I did. So you can really see the good, the bad, the ugly. What do I do? How can it be? And you also can see how it can be with a horse that has not been handled, and how fast they can learn if we learn to be the lead. Okay, Steffi.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining. And thank you, Ingela, for taking the time to offer this free live coaching to us. If you still want to send your email address, please do so now. I just posted a link in that we actually forgot to tell you for all of those who have Facebook. This is Ingela's horsemanship study group, where you can join and see updates, and sometimes she posts little videos, or if you have some spare time, you can scroll down and actually see the cute little foals that they had in Brazil and how they handled them the very first few days. This is really nice to see, and maybe some of you will get a little foal someday, and you can see how that's done. So there are lots of updates, especially about live courses, new projects, and things like that. So yeah, very nice to see you all today. And if you have any questions, then you can also reach us through that Facebook group. Yeah.
Thank you so
Thank you
much for
very much.
attending. I hope you were blessed, and we are excited to see you somewhere.